Welcome to another episode of the Chaotic Sports Podcast where we are off schedule again. But that happens. Anyway, we are in the thick
We're on schedule. It's October 1st. We're
of
here.
the NFL season. We got it's basically a quarter of the season's over. Does it feel like that to you? After 4 weeks, you still feel it's early, but the truth is 25% of the season is done.
Yeah.
You can most coaches think of the season in a quarter. And the first quarter's done.
The first quarter's done, but even though the season's only like 16 weeks, whatever it is, I feel like there's a long way to go still, but I see what you're saying where it's like a lot of it's done already because it's not that long of a season, and we're going into the fifth week.
We're starting the second quarter of the NFL. So I mean, to me, that gives you one could now decide of these last four games who all the dogs are on Angelo trying to give him kisses.
This is how you do a podcast. There's multiple animals on me right now, and I'm just sitting here talking. You would never know if two animals are on my lap right now. I don't sound like
talk.
it, right?
They don't talk.
They don't talk, or they just lick and look at you. You know.
So we can we'll do a couple things. I want to talk. Now that it is to me the quarter point. Is that another home run?
No.
Also, we can't really talk about baseball.
Dude.
Can't really talk about baseball because as we're recording this, we're watching the Brewers and
what a horrible throw.
The Nationals.
Not only did this guy doesn't know how to catch a fly ball, he
There's
also
a different person. Someone else threw it.
No, dude, that was
the
the
other
same
outfielder.
guy. No, it wasn't. It was the same guy.
Oh.
The guy Soto. Has Soto ever threw a ball before? Well, I would have said this was the first time he's ever thrown a ball.
Is that Juan Soto?
Yeah, watch.
I don't know.
Okay, so he missed it, which is not understandable.
That's hard.
I mean, it's not an easy catch, but still.
He lost it up there. Yeah, he
and
just
I'm pretty sure it was him. He threw the ball like he was a 3-year-old.
They're not going to show it through the ball and throw.
Why would you not show it? It was the worst throw I've ever seen. Anyway, Scherzer
has a bad attitude. How about you not let people hit the ball like that?
Yeah, he's
It should have been another home run, to be honest.
Scherzer knows that probably should have been an out, but he's the one messing up.
I mean, what's the best he's going to get out of this? A no decision? It's 3-1. Well, I mean, the Nationals are a good hitting team, so we'll see. So anyway, back to the NFL. We randomly, while talking about the NFL, we're just going to break into talking about live baseball. Essentially.
That's kind of fun, right?
Yeah,
that's something to give you guys. We're going to keep you on your edge, basically.
Yeah. So it's the quarter moment. We can look at, and I know everyone uses the stupid phrase "small sample size," but the truth is that the entire NFL season is a small sample size. But we can look at records. We can talk about who they've played, who they're gonna play, and we can make some assumptions about each of these divisions, which is what I want to do. And we can start with the easiest division to guess and to know what's going to happen, and that's going to be the AFC East, where the Patriots are 4-0.
So we're going over each division right now.
Yeah, I'll talk about divisions, and then the stats that you have ready and who's won games and whatnot are all important. And then next week's games, of course, are important too. So the easiest one is the AFC East, of course. Easy to predict. Or at least it's easy to predict the winner of the AFC East.
I mean, that's only because they have one of the best quarterbacks of all time.
And it's also because it's the easiest division of all time.
Well, Buffalo's a little underrated, but others.
So I think Buffalo's overrated.
Okay, that's a whole. We can talk about that topic. I think they're freaking physical.
Defense
very
is
good
great.
Defense.
Yeah, the defense.
Josh Allen's a lot better than people think. I think they're a good team.
Josh Allen might be.
He got hurt a little bit, by the way.
He's not coming, and he's not in. He's not playing. Yeah, he's missed his time. So,
but other than that, the Jets are horrible.
Jets are.
We know that.
Yeah, they're even more horrible now they don't have Darnold. And Miami Dolphins are unprecedentedly horrible.
Miami Dolphins are really bad, but they gave the Chargers a game and they gave Cowboys a game first half. I mean, they're actually better than they want to be. They want to be horrible, and they're actually not that. They're just decent.
Yeah, but this might be the worst team in the history of the NFL.
No, the Bengals are worse. I would say the Bengals are worse than the Dolphins this year.
Oh, you mean this year?
Yeah.
Oh, you're the only one that says that,
No.
and your opinion is terrible.
No.
one thinks that. Everyone
No, the
knows
Bengals are... The Dolphins want to be the worst team in the league, and they're not. That's the problem. They're not, and they're trying to be, and they're not.
I can't believe I'm hearing
No.
this. You're the only person that thinks that.
You obviously didn't see the Dolphins competed against the Chargers. They gave Cowboys a battle in the first half.
I saw whatever the
decent.
Chargers
They have
and the
decent
Chargers
players.
beat them up. I mean, that's more on the Chargers and
Bro,
Cowboys.
the Bengals lost 27-3.
I'm telling you, no one thinks
The
that.
Bengals are horrible.
You're the only person that thinks that, is what I'm telling you.
No, I'm telling you right now that the Dolphins are not the worst team in the league, but they want to be.
I think the Dolphins are the worst team in the history of the NFL.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I think so.
What kind of horrible statement is that?
Yeah, they might be the worst team in the history of the NFL. You are probably the only. I could probably pull up power rankings from like 10 websites.
Okay, I
I'm just saying,
guarantee you.
you're
I don't
probably
care.
the only one that thinks that the
Well,
Bengals
those people
the
are all wrong. They're not the
I
worst
mean,
team.
they barely lost to the Seahawks.
Exactly, they barely lost.
They played the Bills. I mean, they're an 0-4 team. I'm not saying they don't suck.
Who are you talking about?
The Bengals. They barely lost to the Seahawks, 21-20. They barely lost to the Bills, 21-17. And, of course, the Steelers beat up on them. But, I mean, the team is... I mean, they literally do have two players. They have Andy Dalton, who's at best middle-of-the-road quarterback, and A.J. Green, and like...
Well, Green's not playing, but they have Boyd's good.
Yeah, Boyd's okay. Or Mixon is probably the other good player.
Boyd's good, but they don't have Green's hurt right now.
I mean, T.J.
Dalton's
Boyd,
about to be out of the league.
T.J. Boyd is... I mean, Andy Dalton's probably going to be the Chicago quarterback next year.
He's ran his course. He's had an okay career, but
I mean, Andy Dalton wasn't his fault. Them playing bad. That's another bad offensive line. So a lot. I mean, only the Brady's and Rodgerses and Mahomes type players could really do anything behind that line. It would only be like the super elite quarterbacks that can find success when the offensive line's that bad.
Yeah, I mean, they had like a decent defense. They just, they ran into the wrong teams, of course, too.
But, I mean, the Dolphins are really bad.
They are. We'll look at those power rankings later. I'm curious now.
Oh, there's no one that doesn't think the Dolphins are the worst.
Well, I mean, I'm going off the eye test. Eye test is more important than some geek putting a power ranking.
Well, I'm just
the Dolphins don't look like the worst.
I'm not telling you you're wrong. I'm telling you have a non-standard opinion.
The Dolphins want to be the worst team. I understand that, but I don't think they are.
And, I mean, they're choking on purpose. I mean, who's good on the Dolphins, dude? Even the secondary is gone.
Balaj is a good running back. Devontae Parker. They have
Devontae. No one thinks that Devontae Parker is
very, very good wide receiver.
No one thinks that anymore.
I
hope he goes to another team and says it. But Jarvis Landry got the hell out of there. I mean, Landry's better than Devontae Parker. Jarvis Landry to me is one of the most underrated receivers in the league. He's finally getting some touches because.
Well, he got plenty in Miami. He just was on a horrible team.
Yeah, actually, you're right. He did get a.
Yeah,
he had like he's the guy that could go deep that got a lot of the short passes. You're right. Yeah, I think he led the league in completions one year too.
Maybe.
So the AFC East is easy. The Buffalo Bills, the defense is elite. I'll admit it, but there's still a lot going on there. It's not going to work out. And Rosen's not good yet.
Dude, Frank Gore is one of the best running backs in the league right now. How crazy is that? Think about it.
I respect Frank Gore.
Dude, he's actually a Hall of Famer. I would say like one of the best running backs of all time. How crazy is that?
Well,
think about all the yardage
because of how long he's been around.
Good. Yeah,
but I mean, I see that. I think that like with Jerome Bettis. Bettis played a long time. And he's not like one of the guys that you wouldn't call. Jerome Bettis wouldn't be on like your Mount Rushmore of running backs, but he's an incredible running back that played a long time, that played awesome.
And he was like, without him, he got them a Super Bowl.
Yeah, and Frank Gore, it was funny because at the beginning, in the early years, I think he broke his hip. Like in an early year, like at the beginning, it looked like he's going to be a real fragile guy. And he just kept playing. He's about to beat Barry Sanders on the all-time yard list.
Yeah, and he's just like...
That's pretty intense.
He's got to be like a top fantasy scorer right now. He's like top 5 or something. Like, think about like... I know I have him on one league, and he scored like 16, and then like last week he scored like 18.
And that Frank Gore is the kind of guy that you leave on your bench, and you're like, shoot.
Yeah. Shoot. I started him like 1 week, but you're right. It's like you have a couple other ones that are supposedly better, and he keeps scoring points on your bench.
Yeah, so just to close off the AFC East, I of the belief that this division will end exactly like this. New England Patriots, Buffalo Bills second, Jets third, and Miami Dolphins fourth. Patriots, I mean, they're not going to go 16-0, but they're going to be not only do they have one of the greatest quarterbacks ever, they have one of the best defenses in the league, probably easily top 5. They have great receivers, and they have a really easy schedule. So they're going to go into the playoffs unscathed. Really, all these teams in the AFC are playing just to lose to the Chiefs and or the Patriots so that they can play in the AFC Championship.
Yeah.
With maybe Baltimore, if there's a big injury, Baltimore might sneak in there. But Baltimore, we'll talk about Baltimore in a minute. But
that's crazy because like their defense, they were like, I saw rankings of fantasy defenses like a month or two ago, and a lot of sites had Patriots like number 5 or 6. I mean, they knew that the Patriots defense would be good, but I don't think this good. Like, we'll see. And it's only 4 weeks in.
You can't say I don't think it'd be this good. They're playing.
Well, it's only 4 weeks in.
Bad teams, and they're going to continue to play bad teams. So the defense is very talented, and it's playing bad teams. Like,
so it's okay.
So they're good to go.
4 weeks in.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So let's. I don't want to just go right down AFC. I'm going to jump to the NFC East.
Are we doing predictions and we never go over them after the fact?
We can go. I mean,
we never do though.
I mean, I don't want to outright do predictions. That just in our conversation, there's going to be some predicting, but I don't want to like. I'm talking football. Let's just talk football.
So what are you doing? You're going over conferences for what?
I'm going over divisions, bro.
For what point? Just to talk about
what point is there to do a podcast?
Yeah,
we're talking about sports.
But what's your point about going? We're just talking about. You're actually predicting. You just predicted the finishing of the AFC.
I'm saying in our conversation, predictions will come out, but I'm not like, what's your big prediction? Like, I didn't sit and think about it.
So you're just talking about each division.
Yeah, we're doing just division. It's quarter, and then we're going to give some awards for quarter point awards, maybe. I don't know. Let's just talk about some football, dude. The next division we'll talk about is the NFC East. You know, here's what's gonna be interesting here. I think what we're going to notice is that even though the AFC is overall weaker, there is 2 legit great teams in the AFC.
No, that's true.
In the AFC, where in the NFC, and we will for sure, we can argue about who's better than who because there's no standout great team in the NFC.
So both are hard. The NFC has a few more better teams, but the AFC might have 2 of the top.
They might
2
have
teams.
I think that.
Yeah, there's
I think
the 2
teams on your are the AFC.
Yeah, that's what I mean, AFC.
Yeah.
So the AFC has more.
And I agree.
Those
are the 2
teams. The
best
NFC has
teams.
better teams overall.
Yeah, and they're going to battle it out, and basically those other 2 teams are going to go in unscathed and beat whatever NFC team ends up in there. But we'll get to that in a minute. So the NFC East is very interesting because the Cowboys looked really good, but they really just played with a similar easy schedule to like say that what the Patriots are playing. Like they had the Dolphins.
They played like
in
the
there.
3 worst teams in the league.
Oh yeah. Well, Redskins
and Bengals.
Oh, I also think the
Bengals.
Redskins are worse than the Bengals. By the way, I think the Redskins are worse than the Bengals.
I would say the Redskins are probably worse than the Dolphins too.
Oh yeah, you're.
No, I'm serious.
I know you're serious, but you say crazy.
It's like I'm dead serious. You know. No, I've seen the Redskins.
They're really bad.
But
for me, the bottom of the league is Miami Redskins.
I know this guy picked up Keenan,
right?
Keenan's for Redskins, right? Keenan, Case Keenum.
Mm-hmm.
So this dude picked him up in fantasy, right? As like his guy was like getting on a bye soon, and so as the guy picked him up, I saw him like the next game, and I was like, dude, I basically was like, what kind of pickup? Like, I was like, you could have done better as far as a quarterback pickup. So Sunday was the next morning. I'm watching the Redskins game, and like 5 minutes into the game,
they bench him.
Well, before they benched him, he was like, he looked like he was like half like drunk or something, or he was tired. Yeah. He threw a couple balls out of bounds. He was like falling over. I'm like, what is going on with this guy? Then they pulled him out like a minute later.
They had to. I mean,
it was like, but he looked so horrible.
So we could talk about Redskins because it's this division.
Yeah.
We'll get back to the Cowboys in a second. But it was really bad. You had to make the change, but it's unfortunate to put Haskins in there.
No, they could totally go back to Keenum next game. But
you can't do it now.
No, yes they can. For this game, I definitely agree taking him out. He looked so bad. You had to get him out, or he was going to die out there. I swear. Watch the first 5 minutes of that game. You'll be like, is he under the influence?
I watched the beginning.
Oh, did you see how bad he looked?
No, it was terrible.
It was like I was sitting there like, dude, what's wrong with this guy?
Listen,
but I don't think he. I could think he can have a good game next game.
No, he can't have a good because the team is so bad around him. No, Case Keenum. The reason Case Keenum is even a starter right now is because he did decent with Minnesota, but Minnesota was the kind of team where all he had to do is game manage, right? Because the defense was so good, there was good around him.
Yeah,
Case Keenum can't be on a terrible team. He needs to be on a team where
he can't be the guy that does everything.
So, but once you take him out, I think Haskins is staying in, and it's probably going to ruin Haskins.
Okay, I'm calling it right now. Case Keenum's going to start next game. It was just one of those. Like, everybody has an off day. That was just like, you know what I'm saying? Like, not the best player in the world, like, has a bad game sometimes. It was just like, take this guy out. I don't know what's going on with this guy. What did he do last night? Did he stay up? Did he stay up all night and, like, watch movies?
I don't think Case Keenum is going to start. I'll be surprised.
Well, we'll see, but I think he does start. It's definitely the Haskins era coming up, but
he needed to really sit. Redskins waiting to announce starting quarterback for Week 5, so they haven't decided. And it's against the Patriots. You don't want to put Haskins out there. I think you're right because of that. Because Haskins probably never even got reps with the team. It was
just a bad day for Keenum, dude. I don't know what was going on.
He's not that good in comparison to other starting quarterbacks. He's just not that good. And I mean that whole coaching staff is waiting to be fired. Jay Gruden's going to get fired. I mean it's over for them. And they need to, you know who's I think he's the offensive coordinator. You know who it is over there? For the Redskins, for Washington, Tom Sula. He might get another job the same way.
Sula?
Tom Sula is the
sounds familiar
dude that was they gave him the 49ers head coaching job when they were at their lowest. When they were at their lowest,
like after
and they might give him the job for Washington when they're at their lowest. So it's funny. Anyway, the Cowboys, though, you're right. They had an easy schedule. So they played the Giants week 1. The Giants were so bad they had to bench probably the best quarterback they've had in their history. So even though the Giants aren't like the worst team, they were bad enough that they needed to be benched. And then Redskins and Dolphins. So they did literally play some bad teams. And then they went into So a lot of people have like really cooled down on the Cowboys because they went into New Orleans. They only put up 10 points, but New Orleans is pretty good. But it was without Drew Brees. And the truth is this game looked very similar to their matchup from last year, which was a low-scoring game that everyone thought was going to go over.
Yeah. This one I had under, but not 12-10.
Yeah, you didn't think
12-10
is
like 12-10 is crazy.
Listen, if in previous conversations that we didn't record, I would defend Aaron Rodgers and his 10-7 game or 13-7 or whatever it was against the Bears. We know the Bears, we'll get into that in a minute. So I'm not going to just write off the Cowboys because they had a low-scoring game. It happens. The game plan.
Well, they only gave up 12 too, which is good. Their defense is really good.
Defense is legit. I mean, obviously it wasn't Drew Brees out there.
They still have Kamara. They still have to only give up 12 to the Saints.
And it's not like Teddy Bridgewater is a rookie either. He's still a veteran, right? So it's true. The defense was on, but there's now I forget the offensive coordinator's name, Kellen
Moore.
Kellen Moore. So now there's a script or some video to watch, some tape to watch about Kellen Moore's offense, and maybe it was overrated or something like that. So the Cowboys have softened in a lot of people's eyes, but I just see it as one game. I still think that they're probably set to be the best team in the NFC.
No, they're one of them for sure.
Well, for sure, but I'm saying so right now, this is basically what I'm asking. Right now, number one and
Packers,
2.
Bears are good.
Well, number 1 or 2 is KC and the Patriots. So put those either one. Yeah, put those 1 and 2. The next team is what? it's not Baltimore anymore. I don't think.
Possibly the Saints with Breeze, but he's not playing.
So I don't think it's the Saints either.
With Breeze, I'm saying if Breeze.
But they didn't have a loss with Breeze, or were they? I thought they lost with Breeze.
No, dude, I think he got pulled. He got hurt the first game or something. There's no way.
He got hurt the game before last.
They won with him, dude. There's no way. They don't lose many with Breeze.
They have one loss, and it's against.
It was after he was out, dude.
No, Bridgewater's undefeated there.
It was when he got.
They lost to the Rams 27.
When he got hurt.
They lost to the Rams 27-9. He got hurt in the Seahawks game.
Okay, so you're
Bridgewater is undefeated.
Which goes to I told you about. They looked good. The team was
as a game manager. Yeah. No. Breeze lost to the Rams 27-9. Okay. And people are really light on the Rams now, but we're going to get to those teams in a minute.
Yeah.
So I still probably think that the Cowboys. It's hard to say that the Packers are the best team in the NFC because even though the offense broke out, it was in a loss,
Eagles
and the
good.
defense.
Eagles are good too.
Eagles are up there.
Yeah, Eagles.
But do you say who's better, Eagles or Cowboys? We should talk about the Eagles now.
That's a heck of a battle.
We should talk about the Eagles now.
That might be the NFC Championship game. You might have the Packers, but I'm saying the Eagles
or the Bears.
Yeah, Bears are good. Bears are with their backup quarterback.
We're not talking about the Bears yet.
I'm just saying, and they're still going to be.
We're talking about the Eagles now and the Cowboys. So that you're right about that. The problem is that the Eagles and the Cowboys have to play each other twice. So that's gonna, you know what I mean? That's a big battle as far as records go.
I mean, they're both going to make.
And then the Giants are a little bit better.
The Giants are going to be not going to make the playoffs.
No, they're not going to make the playoffs, but they're a little. They're people are more positive with Daniel Jones back there, and when Saquon Barkley comes back, they're a little bit more positive. They're definitely not making the playoffs, but they're still a team. They're still not an easy team in that division.
No, think about it. These two teams. These two teams are they're not sexy. They're grimy and nasty, and they can win a couple playoff games and get to the Super Bowl. Like the Vikings or the Bears.
We're going to get to those teams.
No, I know.
We're talking
about the NFC.
We're talking about the NFC East right now.
I thought we were talking about NFC.
No, we're talking about the NFC in the context of the Eagles.
Okay,
we'll get to the Bears and that's another hard division.
That's what I'm saying. So
we'll get to that division
soon. So you're talking about the Eagles, Cowboys.
Let's talk. How about this? Let's talk about the Eagles.
Well, who wants to talk about the Redskins? They're out
we
of
already did. We talked for 5 minutes.
I know. I wasn't listening because I don't want to hear about
you. You were talking about them.
Well, I wasn't listening to myself. I was just talking.
Okay, the Eagles. So the problem with the Eagles is that as good as they play in the regular season, you're always waiting for Carson Wentz to get injured. You're and there's no Nick Foles.
It makes you nervous watching the game.
Yeah, there's no Nick Foles back there now.
He's gone.
Yeah, so if Carson Wentz gets injured, they might lose 4 out of 5 games or something.
Yeah, if he gets hurt, they're
right. I don't even know who their backup is right now.
I don't know.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter.
They got a nice little committee for a running game. They got Jordan Howard and they got the rookie back there.
They have, I like their tight end.
Yeah, but Wentz has to be there.
They have some good wide receivers. They have
a great wide receiver core.
Yeah, they have good
if Aguilar doesn't. Well, they
can score some points.
Well, the truth is the Eagles might be undefeated if Aguilar doesn't drop.
Yeah,
they at least have one more win, so they're at least tied with the Cowboys.
Yeah, they had a couple ones that they would have.
Well, there's a big drop in the Packer game, but they were able to win that one. And I can't remember if there were 2 drops in. Oh, there were no drops in the Packer game. Yeah, they have 2 big drops. One of them was in the end zone. They could be undefeated right now, so they're a good team too. But I'm not down on the Cowboys yet, is what I'm trying to say. Even though the Eagles have all the tools, the most likely guy to get injured in that division. His skill player is Carson Wentz, or at least of those 2 teams, Carson Wentz.
Just,
Let's switch. We're going to do the NFC North in a minute. That's going to be a fun argument because I'm a Packer fan. And
so you're trying to keep that to the end?
No, we're not keeping it to it. I'm just jumping AFC. So this is another interesting division, and the reason this division is interesting is it has no great teams, but the division is very open right now. So currently in the AFC North, the Cleveland Browns are in first place with 2 wins and 2 losses, and the Baltimore Ravens are in second place with 2 wins and 2 losses. The Steelers and the Bengals suck. We don't even need to talk about them right now.
The Steelers go from because they lost all these players to they're not that good right now.
Yeah, I don't know if that coaching staff's going to make it to next year on the Steelers side. So there's a lot to talk about, though, of the two teams on the top. Let's
Weren't you impressed by the Browns? Because the Ravens, you just said the Ravens are like one of the best teams in the league.
Well,
and
they
Browns
could have been the last 2 years.
Mopped them up.
Yeah, but now they're 2 losses in a row. The Ravens, right? So people are coming down.
The Browns. I said the Browns are like going to be a 500 team, and I still think
so.
that. Yeah, I'm saying like I was never thinking they're going to go to the playoffs, but they're still good. I mean, they're a year or two away from. I said they're going to be in the AFC Championship game in a few years, and I'm stand by that.
So here's what I'm thinking. Here's what I'm thinking about the Browns is that I agree with you, but here's their schedule coming up.
Yeah, it's hard, right?
It's not super bad. I mean, there's hard teams on it, but then there's easy teams on it. Steelers should be a win. Bengals should be a win. Seahawks, that's a good challenge, right? And then they play the Bengals again, and then they play the Texans.
Well, they play the 49ers this week coming up.
Who?
The Browns.
Oh, I'm talking about. Oh, I'm sorry. This is the Ravens schedule. The Ravens aren't out of it either, then, because Texans and then Rams. Who knows how they'll be playing, and the 49ers, and then the Bills. The Browns play the Niners next, which I think the Niners are overrated, but we'll talk about that also in a little bit. They play the Niners next.
They have that good defense, too. Garoppolo's playing better than people thought.
No, he's not playing good at all.
Yeah, he's playing good. The Frisco defense is playing good. Their running backs are playing good. They're just...
Garoppolo's not playing well. He has a whole bunch of takeaways.
Well, whatever. He's still looking
The defense has gotten...
The defense is playing great.
Yeah, that's what I mean. If the defense wasn't getting their own takeaways... All those turnovers Garoppolo's doing.
You need a good defense. If your defense is playing horrible, all these good quarterbacks are going to lose a lot of games.
No, I agree. I'm a freaking Packer fan. I understand that more than anyone. But I'm telling you, Garoppolo's playing like crap. He's not playing well. Or mediocre at least.
You just hate Garoppolo.
I don't hate Garoppolo.
Yeah, you said he's going to be horrible.
Oh, he's going to be horrible. So is Brissett, and Brissett has 10 touchdowns.
Like you were like, he's going to have a horrible year this year, and he's 3-0 right now. Just you don't like that aspect of Garoppolo.
Well, who's 3-0?
Garoppolo.
No, the defense is 3-0. Garoppolo's sort of there. Anyway, so Cleveland actually has. They're going to go through a little bit of a tough moment with the Seahawks and Patriots, but they have the Niners next week, and then after that, that's Broncos. Bills might be tough, Steelers and Dolphins. But here's the thing with the Browns. Is I think that they figured out what they need to do. So in the beginning, the first few games, it looked like they were trying to let this play develop to get it to Odell Beckham, to get it to Beckham. But this last game, Baker Mayfield's, the time he's held the ball, dropped almost a whole second. So he's taking 3.5 seconds, having to scramble, getting hit, making bad decisions, letting the play develop. But now he's getting rid of the ball really quick. Jarvis Landry's having a great game, and I think a couple more games of that will open
Landry
up.
Will open it up. Landry will open up.
Yeah, because Landry's going to catch all those little balls.
Chubb, you got to run the ball to open up the.
Did we talk about this?
No.
You haven't been reading the thread, our text message thread for the last month.
No. Chubb will.
Don't open up.
No, running opens up.
No, that's a common mistake.
Running opens up the receiving game. That's a known fact.
No, it isn't.
And Chubb running for 170 yards. The defense has to be aware of him more now.
It's a very known false fact that because doing one thing opens up another thing. That's just the nature of football.
No, but so when you have to watch out for Chubb,
passing to Landry opens up the passing game.
Passing to Landry
opens up the long passing
and
game.
will also open up the running game.
That's what I'm saying. That's why you don't. That's why it's.
No. When you have like the bet, like
how did you miss that whole argument on the thread?
Dak Prescott, like if you have a really good running back, it's going to open up the receivers. No.
But what I'm telling you is, doing any facet of the game will open up a small facet of the game. People just try to simplify it by saying those two things.
No, but
you know what opens up the running game? Screen passing.
Okay, but
you know what opens up the running game? Passing.
Passing does. But
you know what? What opens up the passing? The running game.
Football, your go-to is smash football, running the ball to open up the passing game. That's 101 football right there.
No, I'm telling you, that is a.
Is what? That's a fact.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
It's a common
and
fallacy.
That's going to help the Browns.
It's a fallacy. You didn't see. You weren't on that whole argument.
No. Have you seen me? I haven't replied in.
You reply a ton.
I haven't replied in a day. I guarantee you, I probably haven't.
This
replied.
is 3 days ago. It's 3 days ago on the thread. There was a whole talk.
I haven't replied on the thread in 40 hours, probably.
That's fine. This talk happened before the Browns game.
I didn't pay attention to that.
Where I told everyone, where Wayne said that, and I go, that's a falsehood. And here's how you know. Here's how you know. They opened up the winning game by starting to throw to Landry. There was not some great.
It's not
there's
false.
Not some great.
It's actually reality. It's what happens.
No, it's
it's
a basic fallacy.
No, you're just saying it doesn't matter as much as it is, but it does matter.
No. What I'm saying, I'm not saying.
It's like a 3-point.
I'm not necessarily saying.
No, Curry and Klay Thompson bombing threes opens up the inside game. It's just a fact. It's not.
Which it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
Yeah,
because then the defenders have to come out more, and then the inside is more open.
So what you're doing is just too elementary and basic.
It's just a reality.
So let me make something very clear. Let me make something very clear.
Shaq playing it. Hold on, Shaq playing an inside game, pounding the ball inside is going to open up the 3-point shots.
What's funny is those two things just didn't happen, really.
No, but that's
the two things you just described didn't happen.
I know because Golden State doesn't have like a good inside guy, but that opens up. It opens up for Draymond Green or something.
Okay, let me make something very clear, and let me actually finish the sentence. Okay, I'm not saying that there's a situation where the running a lot doesn't open up the passing game, or vice versa. What I'm saying is that doing one thing, being successful at one thing, screen passing, short passes to Jarvis Landry, short passes to Wes Welker. I'm saying doing anything that makes the defense have to think about that opens up something else. I'm saying it's too simple to just go to take the two facets of offense, which are passing and running, and go, one opens up the other. Because the truth is that running a lot to the left opens up running to the right.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't. If you run a lot to the left, that's obviously your best thing. So you have to focus more on. It
does because now they got a double team. Now because there's a double team, they can single. So all of this opens up stuff. Well, if you're passing to Landry a lot, the idea is that hopefully when they have to worry about the slot, you can open up the long pass. So what I'm saying is that is too simple. It's too simple of a statement.
Some teams don't have passing and running legit players. So like the key to throwing off a defense is making them think. So if you have really good running and really good throwing,
it's tricking them.
It's not. It's making them
because
think.
that's what options.
No, it's not tricking them.
That's what the.
No, it's not about tricking. It's about making them think, not knowing what you're going to do. So if you have really good running, you're not tricking them.
Yeah, you are.
You're just making them not know what you're going to do. It's not about tricking. It's
that's
just like
making them not know what you're going to do is what the entire option is. That's what the RPO is. It's tricking them.
So if you could run really good and you throw really good, it's like Kansas City is a perfect thing.
It's like
you have LaShawn McCoy, D. Williams. You have all those receivers. Nobody knows what Casey's going to do. That's why they're so good. That's the key. That's the key to defense, to throwing off the defense is.
But you do know what they're going to do if they have 4 receivers out, so you trick them when you do a run.
No, but you don't know what they're going to do because you're so good at throwing.
What's the point of the option?
No.
What's the point of the option?
Because you're so good at passing and throwing.
I'm asking you a different question. What's the point of the option? What's the point of RPO?
The point of the option is they don't know what you're going to do. It's not tricking.
Because you're tricking them.
You're not tricking them. You might throw or you might run.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's
so now what do they do? Yeah, I'm saying
but not a lot of teams do.
So that's what exactly
you're making the defense.
A lot of teams do the option.
You're making them think.
That is exactly what I'm telling you, and then I'm telling you though that saying running opens up the pass is too simple. You have to make them think.
You could say it's simple, but I'm saying you have to make the defense think. Some teams are horrible at one thing, so the defense could just sit back.
But now you're just blabbering.
No, the defense could just sit back. Kansas City is so good because they make everybody think. They're so good at everything that you don't know what they're going to do.
That's not necessarily true either because...
So is Patriots.
But that's not... So Patriots are tricking the shit out of you.
They could go James White, Sony Michel. They could throw. Brady could do anything. So
but now you're not supporting...
Especially when they had Gronk.
But now you're not supporting what you said.
I'm not trying to support anything. I'm saying you're trying to make the defense think.
Okay, that's absolutely true.
And
that's still simple.
That's what I was
obvious.
saying with the Browns. With if you do the running game,
and you're still masking,
it opens up the receiving
you're
game,
masking,
and now you're making the defense think because you could do both.
Okay, stop saying the same thing.
No,
you're saying the same thing.
No, but it's the truth.
Yeah, but you're just being elementary.
Sport. That's the truth in any sport, though.
So, but why aren't you're masking what you're doing? That's tricking them.
Besides baseball, maybe because it's a little different in baseball.
It's obvious what you're doing when you do the shift. Okay, let's move on to the.
I want to continue arguing about
NFC. Well, you just keep saying the same thing, and we have a show to do. Let's move on to the NFC North.
I mean, I can't change what I'm thinking. I'm just
NFC North. So the NFC North, we actually is a big battle in the NFC North. It's hard to say. It's hard to say who's going to really win the NFC North. I mean, predictions right now are almost a coin flip because you have a bunch of
that is hard.
A bunch of really good teams.
The Lions are a lot better than people.
Exactly. A bunch of really good teams with a bunch of really big questions.
I mean, I'm with you on that. It's hard.
Yeah.
The Lions are
you can go down every one of these. Green Bay Packers. So what are the questions? Is the offense work? Did the defense get exposed? Chicago Bears. Quarterback issues. Should they put in a career backup, Chase Daniels?
They are going to win
Trubisky.
Daniels is going to win a few games because their defense, and Daniels just has to control the offense. They're going to win. They're going to win.
All they have to do is not screw it up.
Okay, who do they play next week?
They actually have a tough schedule.
I don't even care who they play. They're probably going to win because their defense is going to even step up.
They have a somewhat tough schedule.
They play the Raiders. They're going to beat the Raiders.
Yeah.
So Khalil Mack's going to have 3 sacks.
And then they play the Saints at home.
They're going to win. They're going to beat the Raiders freaking 18-7 or something. They're going to dominate them.
Yeah, New Orleans. Los Angeles
would beat New Orleans too.
And it's New Orleans at home Chicago. In Chicago.
Wow, yeah.
And then it gets a little tough. They got the
Trubisky
Chargers in Philadelphia. Trubisky.
Daniels might be a better option
for what they need. For what they need, yeah, because Trubisky can't throw down the field and Chase does it better.
Yeah.
They got the Chargers in Philadelphia. That's so, but the Chargers might be falling apart. They might have missed their window. And then Detroit, Rams, New York. So it's not the hardest or easiest schedule for them.
Isn't there parity though? You got to love that.
Well, it's the
in
NFC
the league.
Too.
No, I'm saying in the league. It's just there's a lot you can't call.
So we know Green Bay's questions. We know the Bears' questions. Then the Lions are actually pretty good, but it just seems like either Stafford creates bad luck or he has bad luck. That they almost beat the Chiefs.
Yeah, the Chiefs scored with seconds to go. They had that.
Well,
game.
and also that fumble, that crazy 100-yard return fumble.
Crazy.
That's bad luck. Sometimes Stafford creates the bad luck. Right, and then also the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, the problem there is Kirk Cousins. He's probably not the guy. They were probably better off with Case Keenum, believe it or not.
They're going to have to win defensively like the Bears. But you jump from the Lions, they say you don't gain anything from a loss, but the Lions should know. The Lions should know, hey man, we could just go on a big winning streak right now. We just gave the Chiefs one of the best teams in the league, and we probably should have beat them. So we could play with anybody, and they should know that.
And their tie against Arizona was a joke.
You do gain from a loss.
And their tie with Arizona was a joke. They should be 3-1, right? If you think of that. And then the Chiefs was just, partly bad luck.
So you're telling me they're seconds away from being 4-0? I mean, they could possibly be 4-0.
I am saying that. Yeah. I mean, the Packers could be too, right?
So I think
the
Lions are playing Patricia ball, right? They're just really good offensively. They're grimy. They're defense.
I'll say this about the Lions, though, is that I've seen them start really well, and I've seen Matthew Stafford fall apart. The first year that Aaron Rodgers missed significant time with that broken collarbone, not the last one, the one before. The Packers sort of stayed in it. They went 500. The Lions looked like they were going to run away with it.
Yeah.
And Stafford fell apart at the end of the year. Aaron Rodgers came back. He ran the table, his famous speech about running the table.
Yeah.
He ran the table, and then the Lions were out of it. So I've seen them fall apart. So even when they're good, even when the Lions are good, it's still Stafford.
They're gonna crumble, but Kerryon Johnson ran for 150 yards.
Dude, they've had guys like that. Dude, they had
Galloway.
You can for a big part. Listen, what do we always say about Joe Montana, people that detract from him. They say that he had Jerry Rice. And what are we going to say about Matt Ryan when we look at his stats and his career's over? We're going to say, oh, he had Julio Jones, one of the best receivers ever. Well, I mean, Stafford had one of the best. Stafford had one of the best receivers in history, and they didn't do anything. You know, and I know that was early on.
You need more players than one good player.
Exactly.
And didn't Montana do good on Kansas City? He didn't win
I'm not saying Montana's bad. I'm saying what do they say? He did do great on Kansas City
for his age.
The NFC North is as a fan, it's going to be a real stress. As a Packer fan, it's going to be a real stressful year.
You have a battle between the Bears, Vikings, Packers, and Lions. Yeah, that's actually underrated.
Yeah, and meanwhile, the Packers are.
There's no dominating quarterback besides Rodgers in that. I mean, but it's like good. It's everybody's
But there's
good.
two dominating defenses.
Every team's good in that division. Basically.
Every team's good. Well, what's funny too is that whoever misses the playoffs in that division, because you're going to miss the playoffs.
It's going to come down to the last week or two probably in that division.
Well, that's the other thing too. So
it's going to come
week 13 through 17, almost every game is between these teams playing each other.
Yeah,
there's a couple out of conference teams. Let's go to the next one.
You still think the Packers are going to win that division?
I don't know.
Yeah.
So I mean, what have I seen from the Packers? I mean, for a minute, I think the defense is great. I can talk about the Packers for 2 hours. You know this.
Well,
but for a minute, I think the defense is good, and they're going to hold them. And then when the offense is good, the defense is not. So one of them, they have to figure it out. And if they're giving up all these running yards, they're one of the worst run defenses in the league now, especially after last game. You know who they're playing this week? Ezekiel Elliott, who's just chomping at the bit to have a big game.
Well, Martinez has got to be ready.
Yeah, well, Martinez is going to get all the tackles he needs. What happens is it doesn't matter if he's getting the tackles 12 yards out. You know, the line has to stop it. Yeah. Martinez, listen, let's say Blake Martinez is going to stop a touchdown run, but he's not going to stop the 12-yard run.
Safe.
Looked like it. Let's jump to the AFC South. Now, the AFC South is interesting because these teams always look like this, and then they play each other at the end of the year. And then it looks like one team's better than the other, but they've been even for a long time. So each of these teams are 2-2. The entire division is 2-2, and that's the Houston Texans, Indianapolis Colts, Jacksonville Jaguars, and Tennessee Titans. But despite the fact that none of these teams are going to win the Super Bowl and they're all going to lose early in the playoffs, despite that, it is a really interesting division because each of these teams have a cool storyline.
Well, so who's Jacksonville?
Jacksonville is Minshew Mania. Minshew Mania. Do you believe in him?
Raleigh Fingers.
Do you believe in him?
Yeah, he's awesome.
He's fun to watch.
Him up in fantasy.
Yeah,
somebody got him.
He's a fun. Oh, in Dynasty.
He's a good character.
He's a great character.
And he's good. He has like one of the best passer ratings right now. Like, but he hasn't played 4 games.
Yeah.
So he's like, if he played 4 games, he'd be like number 3.
So I mean, just as a football fan, I wish success on Gardner Minshew because he's a fun character.
Yeah,
like you want that personality and to talk about him. You don't want to be sitting on the bench and off the news, you know. So Minshew Mania is a great story.
Is that what it's called? I never heard that.
You haven't heard people saying Minshew Mania?
No.
And then technically in last place, but they're 2-2, is the Tennessee Titans. And let me ask you this. How many interceptions does Marcus Mariota have this year?
0.
He has 0 interceptions. Most people I've asked, and I guess I set you up for this. No, most people I asked
and
don't realize
he's top, like maybe 5 or 6 in like QBR or something too. He's playing good right now.
Yeah, he's playing pretty good. The Titans are okay.
They just don't have a lot of weapons.
Yeah, not a lot of weapons. And I mean, the Titans are okay. Mariota, you're always afraid he's going to get injured, but I think he's been healthy lately. But to me, that's a good story because I really thought Mariota out of that, was going to be better than Jameis Winston. And we'll get to Jameis Winston, don't get on him. But I really thought that Mariota was going to be better than him. And really, they're both like these 2 players that
1 week on,
probably
week off.
1 week on, yeah, and probably not going to get re-signed. They're not the quarterbacks that are going to get big contracts. They didn't have this team built around them because Goff is probably right around their skill level.
Yeah, but does Mariota have? Has he been given like all the supplies? I mean, you got Derrick Henry's pretty good, but like, does he have like a lot of other good players? I mean, like, I like their tight ends pretty good, but I mean,
at some point though, But at some point though, don't you need to show how great you are? Like, who doesn't have a bunch of good players is what's his name in Baltimore?
Or Tom Brady.
In his career, he's been on and off. But, I mean, Tom Brady has the greatest
Mahomes
coaching.
Has good players.
Mahomes has really good players. But
He's
Mahomes...
He's been set up.
He might be, but Mahomes...
I mean,
you can watch Mahomes, though. I can watch Mahomes and say he's great.
He's so great.
Yeah.
But if, like,
Game
the
slow
Redskins drafted Mahomes, they might not be doing as good as the Chiefs right now.
No, for sure they wouldn't.
You know what I'm saying? So Mahomes wouldn't be, like... He would still be playing good. Maybe they'd have
but that's exactly what I'm saying though, is that even though that Mariota hasn't had these weapons like you said, he still doesn't flash this thing where, oh man, he'd be great with some weapons.
He had a couple good
he makes
like
huge
last year or something.
He makes some huge mistakes, you know.
Same with he's a lot like Watson.
Well, no. That's where I want to go next.
Yeah.
So
it's random.
If you want a team that should be an elite team, it's the Houston Texans. And it's not Deshaun Watson's fault because he makes a lot of plays with that bad.
They have good players everywhere, though.
But not the offensive line.
That's what it is. Then.
And he does create stuff with a bad offensive line. We talked about the Bengals a few minutes ago that, you know, a good player can create. So Watson does create with that bad offensive line, but you can only do so much. And we've seen that in the past with Aaron Rodgers.
And maybe they don't have a great running back right now, although Carlos Hyde's playing good.
Hyde's playing good.
Hopkins. Great wide receiver.
I mean, Hopkins is probably... I think he might be the best.
They have J.J. Watt. They have a good defense.
They have a good defense. Will Fuller is a nice little second guy. There's another good dude. Yeah, but right now he's on the run. He's probably going to break the sack record.
Who? He's going to get sacked the most times?
I think so. Well, he's going to get sacked a lot. He's going to get hurried. He's got to create. He's never been able to super develop. I think that with an offensive line, the Texans would be one of the elite teams in the league. But they don't have one.
So they're going to... You're telling me right now, the next year's draft, they're going to draft a couple offensive linemen.
They should, but it depends who's there. You know, we haven't looked at like who's going to be there. So, I mean, good offensive linemen always come out, but do you want to waste that?
So do you draft team needs or best available?
Well, I say you always draft best. No, I say you always draft best available because
then all they need is a couple offensive linemen.
Yeah, but you draft best available so that you can trade them for an offensive lineman for a better one. Because even if you draft an offensive lineman to be good, he's not going to be good for 2 years. Right, so let's jump. AFC South is in flux. AFC South is actually to me a lot like the NFC North, except the NFC North is actually really good. The NFC North is actually really good, and the AFC South is very close, but not as good as the NFC North. Okay, NFC South.
You're talking about famous Jameis now?
Well. Let me introduce the NFC South for a second because, when you hear these teams, you don't think that they're that good, but 3 of these teams have been in a Super Bowl recently.
Yeah. Okay.
So it's and we know Breeze is an all-time great, but it's really a bunch of players that can get hot for a period of time. And look at that, Strasburg as a
well, you obviously didn't
coming in the middle.
Check your chaotic sports thing because it was already claimed. I already talked about it.
Oh, I missed it.
They were going to go Strasburg and possibly Corbin 1, 2, 3 in this game
because they have to win.
But
you waste your pitchers, and he's already gotten hit on.
Now it's do or die. But I expected them to be up 1-0 right now when they brought in
when
Strasburg.
They did that. Yeah.
So now it might be too little, too late.
So now you have a New Orleans Saints that are not going to have Drew Brees for a few weeks. And Teddy Bridgewater's okay.
Loop, right?
Huh?
That threw the division for a loop.
It did.
Would be like...
You have a Buccaneers that could be undefeated, to be honest, or at least 3-1, to be honest. Beat the division the former Super Bowl or the NFC champions, the LA Rams.
Well,
on again, off again, famous Jameis. Looked like an incredible player.
Your leading point scorer for quarterbacks the last 2 weeks, I'll guarantee you, is Winston. He's either 1 or 2
in fantasy.
Yeah,
the week before, because
he's been He scored like 40 and 35 in one of my leagues last.
And Mike Evans the week prior had an incredible.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So Winston's
put me at 201 fantasy.
Winston's like out of nowhere. He was dropped in one of these leagues, and then he just had the best 2 games.
The game before, I don't have that in front of me.
On fire right now.
Well, the game before, he might have scored a bunch of Listen, Jared Goff scored a bunch of fantasy points.
400.
yesterday.
4 touchdowns or something.
Yeah, but no. Jared Goff had scored a bunch of fantasy points yesterday
but
because of usage. He played like shit, actually. So I actually don't remember Jameis playing well game. Oh, against the Giants.
He played good the last 2 weeks.
No, but that was a usage thing. He played good last week. He played good fantasy the week before. He didn't play good.
Against the Giants, they could have won. They should have won that game.
Yeah, but I mean, it's usage.
They missed a field goal. You realize that, right?
I do.
They missed a field goal.
They could have won it, but I mean, he went 23 for 37. I mean, 380 yards passing, but that's because he was throwing everything and he was catching up. So, I wouldn't say. I would say that's a good fantasy week. I wouldn't say it was last week that I'm like, oh, Jameis Winston is great, and he still almost lost the game. By the way,
listen, I don't like lobster. Either, but I'm saying
lobster boy. I like him.
I love lobster. Actually,
yeah.
No, he's just looking better than I thought. He's just randomly.
But like we just said, he's an on again, off again guy.
He looks better than Matt Ryan.
That's true.
You haven't talked about the Falcons.
We're about to. 3 weeks. He's 3 weeks on, 6 weeks off. That's Jameis Winston, right? At any time, he's going to start throwing interceptions.
He's like Mariota, Winston, these guys where they're.
We thought they're going to be greats.
They're going to have one great game. And you can look horrible the next game.
We thought they were great. I would say Winston's even more. I think Mariota's like a little bit more like we know what he is, sort of. But Winston could be like he did yesterday, like he did on Sunday, and then terrible, right? Matt Ryan. That's another coaching staff that's going to get fired. Matt Ryan's probably going to pass for. I mean, stats wise, is probably going to be up there again with his MVP season. But there's no running game. Devontae Freeman sort of faded out. The defense iffy.
Dude,
and he's making bad decisions.
Has ran for like 40 yards all year. He's had like horrible.
Well, don't forget that Devontae Freeman was surprisingly good. No one thought.
Yeah, he came out like he was a backup.
Yeah, I mean, people thought that other kid, Coleman.
Wasn't there injured? Yeah, that guy got injured.
Well, Coleman was not good.
Injured, and then Freeman was like
he just started running touchdown. He started doing well, and so you know what I mean. I think he had his run.
Everybody picked him up on fantasy.
Yeah,
like who's this guy?
He had his run, and they never really replaced him or found anyone else.
So that's who they need to draft as a running back.
Well, I mean,
they have Julio Jones. Ridley hasn't done nothing.
Yeah, but you got to throw the ball, and Matt Ryan is making some interesting choices.
So isn't that coaching / on the quarterback?
I think.
Because so it's coaching / quarterbacks coach / quarterback. Because my first thing would be like, why have you only thrown the ball 2 times to Ridley all season?
I think.
See what I mean? So
I think it's that
you got to throw him the ball. I want you to throw Ridley the ball 6 times a game.
But how do you know that Ridley didn't lose a step too? He could have.
Dude, he's freaking 20 years old. I'm sure.
Did everyone? Ridley is someone that could have just existed because Julio Jones is so awesome. You know?
No, he was getting college. You don't lose a step like
that quick. I agree with everything you said. Basically, coaching and the fact is that Matt Ryan was a lot like our buddy on the Panthers, Cam Newton. Is that hey, there's a lot of holes in their game. They could throw for a lot of stats, like fantasy wise, because of the kind of players that they are. They're different players, but fantasy wise, they could score a lot of points, but. They're not the ideal person you want leading your team as a quarterback. Neither one of them.
Panthers. You talked about
Kyle Allen.
Allen playing great, and McCaffrey's playing great.
Well, McCaffrey's always there. Kyle Allen, that first game was a surprise. The second game, I think, is bringing us back down to earth because I haven't followed Kyle Allen. I love that he stood up against J.J. Watt when J.J. Watt hit him real hard. And, he should have went down. J.J. Watt was the most surprised person on the planet, but. I think a question with Kyle Allen, and he'll likely, probably get a starting gig when he's able to get out of behind Cam Newton. I think the question with Kyle Allen is how well he protects the ball.
I mean, Newton might have to retire in a year or two and it's Allen's job.
Maybe.
They might keep him and
but there's questions about how he protects the ball. So that's what I'm going to look at when I'm watching Panthers games now is does he protect the ball? Does he respect the ball? Or is he going to just is he going to just fumble a lot?
Did he fumble a lot already?
He's not protecting the ball.
So he fumbled twice or something.
Yeah,
or like one pick and a couple fumbles or something. I mean, these are his first few games ever.
That's true
too.
Mess
up.
That's true too. Yeah, you weren't ready. You're getting your first reps with these players.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
There might be like one or two, but what quarterback starts like on fire like his first game? Like there's a couple. But
no. Starting on fire is normal because Chase Daniels looked like. For a minute there, looked like a Pro Bowler. I mean, there's something in being new and tricking the defense because they didn't prepare for you.
Yeah. Then a couple weeks later, they know what you're going to do.
Yeah, then a couple weeks later, they know your limitations. You know,
and that goes back to the thing that you're not going to want to hear about, but the defense has to think. You have to make them think.
I just told you something. I snuck it in and you didn't even notice. I go, it tricks the defense.
No, it's not tricks. Well, you might have said something, but I just counteracted what you said because
he had 3 sacks. He had 3 sacks. But I mean, making the defense think, that's agreed. You don't have to tell anyone that. Well, Zachary is 1 year old, and everyone understands that.
Some teams doesn't make the defense think that much, and that's why that team sucks.
Well, I mean, how do you make that? I don't want to get back into this because we just repeat the same. We're essentially agreeing, by the way. But you make the defense think. You do that by masking what you're going to do, which is why people play the run option, which is why people like put the 2 best receivers outside and they throw it to the slot guy, you know? I wanted to see. I don't even care if he had any fumbles. Let's move on. 2 more divisions for the quarter awards. And then we have, this is another easy division because the Chargers aren't that good and Raiders are not good either. The AFC West, Kansas City Chiefs, Oakland Raiders, Los Angeles Chargers, who are surprisingly bad.
So the Kansas City Chiefs will finish last in the division if Mahomes gets hurt next week.
I don't think that's true.
I do.
I don't think they'll finish last. If they were in one of these other divisions,
yeah.
But the Raiders and the Broncos are pretty bad teams.
But no,
Broncos have an underrated defense.
I was just about to say the Broncos. They could easily. I know you can say this about any team, but they're seconds away from being 2-2. They lost on a last-second field goal, and another game they had the lead at the very end of the game. And they lost. Like, they could be 2-2 right now.
Yeah, but there's still big holes there, and no one's going to ever fire John Elway.
And Bradley Chubb just got out for the year.
And he's out for the year.
That's
no one's ever going to fire John Elway because he's important. But, I mean, is there anyone, with the exception of Peyton Manning, who won them that Super Bowl, I mean, is there anyone that's stuck around that long and been so bad at choosing quarterbacks? Like, nothing has worked. Peyton Manning worked. Nothing else has worked.
I mean, it's
John
obviously
Elway.
Hard to draft quarterbacks.
Anything they did, though. It was a bunch of stretches. Tim Tebow.
Kelly. No, Tebow was a good.
Paxson.
Tebow was good. I still don't understand that. That's a whole other issue.
I don't even talk about Tebow
again. You get
again.
Tebow, he leads you to the playoffs. You get a playoff win, and then you're like,
anything.
And then you're like, we don't need you anymore. No thanks.
Well, because they got
I know,
Peyton Manning.
Yeah. I know,
but he wasn't going to do shit. He didn't. He
was a lot better.
He faded out. He faded out on every other team. That's like me saying Mettenberger
than all the other quarterbacks they've had besides Manning.
No, I don't know about way better. He was there.
Way better. Those guys were horrible. They had
he
Kelly,
wouldn't. If there wasn't a defense there, he wouldn't have been good.
Paxton Lynch, I drafted in fantasy. I thought he was going
to be good too. He's not good.
He's not actually, and he looked good in like preseason this year for like the Seahawks.
Foul,
but like he's not in the league right now. But for preseason, he had a couple good games, and they were talking about him a lot. They were like, "Dang, Paxton."
Listen, I thought Paxton Lynch would be good too. I thought during that. In our fantasy draft, in our dynasty draft, I thought during that draft I was going to get Lynch and Goff or Lynch and Wentz. And then I went way deep and no one got either one of them, and I picked Goff and Wentz, you know?
And I got Lynch.
So I liked Lynch at the time. Obviously, I don't think so anymore. But so the truth is that the Chiefs are actually good enough that they would win that division anyway because the Chargers just aren't that good. So let's start. We'll get through the AFC West really fast.
Aren't they going to get better?
Well, that was the one thing that wasn't wrong.
Aren't the Chargers really good?
No,
now they're even better.
No, they haven't been good.
No, but now they're going to be even better.
Well, but what's funny though is that they're adding a piece.
You have a nonstop good running back in it at all times.
I love Melvin Gordon.
Light you up.
I love Melvin Gordon. He came from Wisconsin. I love him. But listen, the one thing that wasn't wrong, the one thing that was going right with the Chargers was the Eckler and that second running back game. That was the one thing that was okay.
Yeah, you're right. But
so does it hurt that Melvin Gordon's coming? No.
But how about in basketball? You want your players to play as hard as they can for every second that they're in, and then they'll put another guy in, and then they'll put you back in. So you have you want your players to because some players, they're saving their energy, right? But a good team, the players play as hard as they can, and you put the next guy in, then you go back in, then you go back in. So the Chargers, Eckler, Melvin Gordon. And who's the other running back?
I forgot.
What I'm trying to say is
Mike something.
If they just do the carousel of the 3 awesome running backs, and you have basically a top running back in at all times.
But what I'm saying is, what does that do to the team? Here's the thing: your running game
It's just another good guy, another good running back.
Listen, you can't put in a talent like Melvin Gordon and not be better.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying, though, is that it's not like you're putting in a new lineman or a slot receiver. I'm saying that the only thing good about the Chargers this year, the only thing that I could rate a 9 out of 10 is the running game. And now you add Melvin Gordon. Now
they've also been missing
the best
Hunter
is
Henry too. He's been injured.
So now instead of a 9 out of 10, let's call him a 10 out of 10. But the problem is that they were losing with a 9 out of 10 ranking at running back, is what I'm saying. So does Melvin Gordon go in there? Does it make him better? Yeah. But something's wrong in that team.
Okay, they're going to get way better.
Plus they have no home games.
Weeks.
Plus they have 0 home games.
Why? Because they play somewhere else?
Because they play in L.A. Okay. They play in a 10,000 person stadium. The Steelers are going to have more fans.
Let's fast forward to week 8. They're going to win 4 games in a row because they're going to have Melvin Gordon will be back established.
You're not going to say. No, I'm going to tell you who's. Well, I'm going to tell you who's on week 8. I know you just said it. I know you just said it. Week 8,
Patriots.
On week 8, they play the Bears, they play the Packers, they play the Raiders, and they play the Chiefs.
Listen,
I know.
Okay, but what I'm trying to say is Melvin Gordon is going to be like a few weeks established, back into it, the rhythm, and then you're going to get Hunter Henry back. That's 2 good players, like more.
Hunter Henry's only good. I wouldn't call him this game changer.
Aren't tight ends very slim, and he's like the 4th best tight end in the league.
Listen, there's still 75% more of the year to play. I thought the Chargers were going to be, they actually fought Kansas City pretty good last year for that. I thought the Chargers were going to be an easy wild card playoff team and one of the better teams that might be able to sneak through with an injury or a really good playoff game. They look bad. They need to fix what's happening.
What's their record right now?
2-2.
Okay.
2-2, but they were ugly 2-2, and like you said, against the Dolphins was not good. So let's close it up with the NFC West. This to me is a shit show. I think Seattle, the team that's ahead 3-0. They're 3. Well, they had a bye. They're 3-0. Is the 49ers. Look who's here. Zachary's here. What's up, dude?
He's coming from the park or something.
From Grandma's house.
And I like he's got the Nirvana
flannel on.
Grunge flannel on. I love it.
But I don't think either one of us think that the 49ers are better than the Seahawks or the Rams. Can we agree on that? The 49ers aren't better than the Seahawks. Oh, I don't know. Russell Wilson is
better than the Rams. Well, Russell Wilson's
really
way
good.
better than Garoppolo,
and way better than Goff.
Well, 49ers defense is playing great, but so maybe I would say for the first time in a few years, isn't the Frisco defense possibly better than the Seattle defense?
No, I agree with that 100%.
Yeah, so
the Seattle defense isn't what it was at all.
They're close in team-wise right now. You know what I mean?
I
don't know.
I think Seattle's way better.
And Carson for Seahawks hasn't been playing that good. So actually the 49ers running backs have been playing better.
I thought Carson was playing good, but maybe I'm not paying attention. I think I got hurt last game.
Maybe he played good last game, but the 2-3 games before that he didn't play good.
Well, listen, I think Seattle's better. The Rams really got to figure out what they're doing because something's not clicking. One of those things that's not clicking is that they're clearly using Gurley less because they don't want...
Is he still hurt from, the playoffs? Remember, last year they hardly used him. So is he still, not...
Well, I think what happened is that they overused him and he has arthritis, and now they're trying to use him a little bit, still make him a starting running back. Problem is Darrell Henderson is a rookie, and he doesn't really know what he's doing yet. And I bet you that if they're in a division race, if the Seahawks make it interesting or San Francisco continues to win, then they'll start using him more.
Yeah.
But I think the plan is to really turn it on and save him for the playoffs. That's my guess. They're saying that's not true. But he's not practicing on Fridays. Yeah, they're trying to
He might be hurt more than we think again.
He has arthritis. No, he has arthritis.
Okay, so he's just messed up. I mean, arthritis, what is that? I mean, doesn't everybody have arthritis?
No, I mean, if you're diagnosed with arthritis and you're 24, it's meaningful.
No, dude, all you got to do with arthritis, you know what? You know how you take care of arthritis? You walk more.
Okay, but that's not true.
It is true.
Who's walking more than a professional football player?
No, they don't walk hardly at all.
Who's walking more than a professional football player?
No, some players don't do anything all week and they just freaking run crazy on Sunday.
Okay.
Or they run a little bit. No, arthritis, if you have arthritis in your legs or whatever, the key to making you feel better is walking.
Okay.
Is moving around.
Anyway, thank you, Dr. Angelo.
No, but one thing about the Rams, I want to talk about Rams.
Go ahead. You got more?
And when in doubt, if you have a guy that has arthritis or a guy that has some other kind of whatever it is, I don't know what kind of stuff, the key to success, go to Cooper Kupp.
That's what they're doing.
Yeah, I would just go to Cooper Kupp.
But hold on. They're not going to Cooper Kupp, and they're not looking great.
You can't stop him. So just go to him. And then you have the other good.
Did you hear me, though? Cooper Kupp's having a great year, and they're not looking incredible.
Okay.
I think they're
And they have another good wide receiver, too.
They have two good wide receivers. They have Brandon Cooks. They have Robert Woods.
Yeah, so they have
great wide receivers. The problem is, and they're 3-1, so it's not like it's fallen out. They can maybe figure it out.
Defense can improve a little bit, maybe.
Sure.
Even though they have a good one.
But, I mean, to be honest, the problem is Jared Goff. And they paid Goff a lot of money. He's either not developed completely yet, and because they won, everyone thought he was, or he's just not a good quarterback.
So Wentz is better than Goff.
I think that's clear. Yeah, I think that's clear. So it's like, here, for me, I don't know what's going to happen, but what I'm paying attention to is how Jared Goff improves, especially when they're not using Todd Gurley as much. They're trying to save him or protect his health.
Okay, so the Rams would be better if they had Russell Wilson as their quarterback and Gurley didn't have arthritis.
Well, no shit, Sherlock. I mean, most teams in the NFL would be better if they had Russell Wilson as their quarterback. I mean, there's probably 5 teams that absolutely don't want Russell Wilson as their quarterback. There's probably 5 of them. It turns out that he's a really smart guy.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He can run.
Yeah, he might be undersized, and you could have never guessed it, but he's really smart.
You want a guy that could move. He could throw good. He's smart. I mean, that's
and I understand that he came in this like new quarterback era, but he's number 2 all time, and I know that the era helps him a lot. He's number 2 all time in rating for a guy that you don't even think of as a high flying quarterback. He's number 2 in rating. So he's efficient. The defense has helped him in his career to make efficient plays and stuff, but. I mean, really, there's probably 5 teams that don't cut their quarterback to let Russell Wilson start. I mean, I think he's underrated, huh?
Yeah, and
maybe
Goff might be overrated.
Well, Goff, I think people know that he's a manager. I hope he develops, but for me, that's the talking point for the Rams. What I'm going to look at is you have this newfangled offense. How does Goff do in it?
Yeah.
You have 3 great receivers. I mean, Robert Woods is a great receiver. Brandon Cooks is a great receiver, and Cooper Kupp is like a Wes Welker Edelman type guy. He's always going to be open in that slot and stuff, and he's a great player too. I mean, he got injured all year last year, but they won without him.
Yeah, that hurt them last year. Him getting hurt.
Anyway, you good?
We're good. This is
okay.
That's our little. We didn't preview Week 5, but we'll do that next podcast.
Yeah,
we just talk about NFL, whatever.
Yeah, it was the quarter point review,
and right now it's 3-1 Milwaukee in the 7th inning in the
you had 7.5 though, right?
Under. So it's looking good.
For you now, it's looking good, yeah.
It's looking good.
Anyway, find us at Chaotic Sports on Twitter. You find me at Chris Sard on Twitter. And, rate, review, do all that fun stuff. Thank you guys for watching or listening. Have a wonderful day.